There comes a defining moment in the evolution of every civilization when silence is no longer wisdom, ambiguity is no longer protection, and ethical order must be spoken into existence with unmistakable clarity. The sacred protective decree Codex of divine governance emerges as that declaration, a constitutional-style charter of 50 foundational decrees established to protect dignity, sovereignty, truth, accountability, stewardship, and principled order. This is not a document of domination, nor a framework of coercion. It is a shield against exploitation, deception, abuse of authority, manipulation, predation, and corruption in all forms. Structured across 7 constitutional books, the Codex establishes an intentional architecture of protection for the individual and integrity for the collective. It begins by affirming foundational protections: the sanctity of consent, the sovereignty of conscience, the necessity of truthful conduct, and the rejection of exploitative manipulation. It recognizes that coercion is not always physical. Sometimes it arrives through deception, fear, emotional destabilization, dependency, reputational sabotage, or the misuse of trust. And so the Codex names these harms clearly, establishing principled ethical boundaries where confusion once prevailed. But this framework extends far beyond abstract ideals. It reaches into the realities of leadership, finance, testimony, mentorship, psychological safety, bodily dignity, resource stewardship, conflict resolution, and communal accountability. It affirms that leadership without transparency becomes corruption. Influence without integrity becomes exploitation. Stewardship without accountability becomes concealed domination. It protects against slander, fraud, abuse, coercive agreements, predatory targeting, emotional manipulation, and the exploitation of vulnerable beings. In doing so, it creates not merely protections, but standards. Yet this codex is not built upon suspicion alone. It is aspirational. It calls leaders toward humility, restraint, ethical discipline, and service. It calls communities toward shared responsibility, truth, restoration, and principled governance. It calls individuals toward conscious sovereignty and emotional integrity. Its purpose is not vengeance, but restoration. Not fear, but clarity. Not division, but ethical order. It envisions a civilization where power is accountable, truth is protected, and dignity is never negotiable. So let this be entered into the record. The sacred protective decree Codex of divine governance stands as a formal declaration of conscious ethical stewardship. 50 decrees, 7 books, 1 unwavering principle: that any future worthy of endurance must be built not merely with authority, but with integrity. So declared, so recorded, so upheld, with sacred stewardship, ethical resolve, and unwavering commitment to order. Sebastianus Christiani Alvarius, chosen leader of the 144,000 chief architect of the new earth.